The Creative Collective. Collaboration, not competition.
Episode 12.
Love it.
It's all the hands.
Love it.
All the hands,
Here we are.
all the time.
Episode 12. TCC Snap.
Today, we're talking about luck. Well, how important is luck?
How important is luck? It's never something that I haven't thought about it before. It was just as we were shoving double sausage and egg McMuffins into our faces on the way when you mentioned it.
Production meeting.
Yeah, that I started thinking about it. So there's the obvious ones for what I do, which is if I do an audition, I might be the first person to do that audition, which would be quite lucky. Lucky that I saw that email as soon as it came in and managed to do the audition and managed to submit first. But if 30 people get in there before me, that's not great. Because if they hear a voice they really like within the first 5-10 that they're listening to, they won't even get to mine. It's just a numbers game, including luck, I guess, there. But
there has also been some research about if you're going for job interviews, most people think it's best to go last because you're the... But it is the other way around, just like you said. It's better to be first.
Yeah, because quite often there'll be a couple of hundred people going for an audition. So if I'm number 200, they're not going to listen to that many.
No.
And if they listen to them in chronological order.
And also they would be tired and probably fed up.
Yep. And also it comes down to, even if I am first, and it's the best audition in the history of auditions, if it's not what their idea is of what they want the voice to sound like, I just won't get it. So that's bad luck, I think. But in terms of like general marketing, I think you could have the perfectly crafted email for outreach, like cold outreach. And there's so many factors that come into it, like what time of day you send it, what day you send it, if that person's at their desk, if they see it on their phone or not, if they file it for later, if they're on holiday, if they're just out at lunch or something. There's so many things that go into it that, I mean, it might not even ever get read. And I've been, like the past couple of years, I've been using a process where I follow up 5 times from the first email that I've sent. And I sometimes get responses on the 5th follow-up saying, I'm so sorry, I haven't responded yet. I've been doing this, that, and the other. So there is a lot of unknowns, I think, that come into that sort of stuff. You shouldn't just, like the drive over here, panic at every turn.
So for context, we were absolutely on time. We got here early, but Martin is a big panicker.
The normal route was shut. And then we thought there was a crash on the motorway, but there wasn't. So where was I?
We were talking about luck.
Yes.
And you were talking about your email process, about following up, and how. So what I hear from that is you might get unlucky on that first email, but if you have the processes in place over the longer term, well, then it kind of luck is, you sort of circumnavigate luck.
Yeah,
in some way.
or you make your own luck by just keep sending them emails until they respond to one of them.
Yeah, that's true. Well, making your own luck in business, that's an interesting one.
What does that mean?
Well, exactly. It's a bit, I think luck in business, I think luck in business plays a lot more, I think it's a lot more important than we think, certainly in the short term. Because I think if you start a business or you're even 2 or 3 years in, I think luck has a huge role to play because, as you've just said, you don't know when those emails are going to hit the right people at the right time. You potentially have to get lucky with the client choosing you over other people. So I think short-term luck is very, very important. But then over the longer term, I think then it's probably less so because you do have the processes in place. And as you said earlier, it then just becomes a numbers game. As long as you're getting leads in, well, then luck doesn't really come into it because you have the processes in place.
Yep.
But so many businesses struggle the first 2 or 3 years. And that's when you do need to get lucky, because you're probably not as good as you need to be potentially. So maybe you do need to have good conversations with the right people at the right time, which could be down to luck. However, even that, if you're having good conversations, or you're putting yourself in a position to have good conversations and get lucky, is that luck? There's a famous sporting saying that the more I practice, the luckier I get.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Go on.
The more I practice darts,
The worse you get.
yeah. It is an interesting one.
Can you think of a time in your business where maybe you got a job, or something happened in your business, and you put it down to luck more than not skill, but you putting the work in?
Yeah, so what I was thinking about was, if I get ill, my voice sounds different, so I can't work properly, or at least some of the time. And I would always put that down to, that's more bad luck. I got ill again, because at the beginning I did used to get quite ill. But is it luck, or was it lifestyle? There's you quite often will just say, well, that's rubbish, that's happened. But you don't analyse why it's happened. And touch wood, I'm not going to touch wood because that's just silly. It hasn't happened for a long time because my lifestyle has improved. So I'm less sort of, I guess, open to those, just germs, basically.
You're less likely to get ill because of the stuff that you've put into place.
Yes.
But there's still an element of luck that you need to be, because you could put everything in place, and you could pass someone down the street today and they could pass something on to you. So there's still that element of luck, isn't it? That never, you can't shield yourself totally by your processes and how you do things.
And I don't, or I wouldn't be sitting opposite you today,
No.
who I know is riddled with stuff most of the time.
Exactly. I'm not riddled.
Love that.
Okay, yeah. So lifestyle then. So that's something that you. What about any other things you can think of where you think, "Oh, that's lucky. I got lucky," or "That's bad luck." Maybe we should switch it as well.
I think sometimes the thought process is always to think, "Oh, that was good luck," and you just ignore what you've done to get to that point. So I could say, like for example, if I got the audition, if I won the job, no matter where I was in it, I could say, "Oh, that was lucky. I won that job." But you got that job because of the hard work that you've put in to have the skill to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, is luck an abstract concept that doesn't really exist?
Of course it does. What do you mean? I don't know.
It just sounded good.
It did sound really good, and it got me thinking. But yeah, of course, yeah. It must. It's to me, and as I said earlier on, I think it's probably more relevant in the first part. But even if health is a great example of being lucky, because if you're self-employed or running your own business, you need to have luck on your side not to get unwell, or you need to have luck on yourself. You need to have luck on your side, so you don't get an injury, so you can't work. Because if you can't do that, well then, so there's always going to be an element of luck.
What's the luckiest thing that's ever happened to you in business?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a good question, and it's quite an easy answer. About 2 years ago, I got an email, and it led to about £3,000 worth of work overall, and the email wasn't meant for me.
Okay.
So that is now. Okay, so there's two strands to this. It was lucky to get that email, and when I realised it wasn't meant for me, I didn't say anything, obviously.
And they've called you Tracy ever since.
But it was £3,000, but it was staggered, and it became 3,000 because of the repeat work I got after that. And I only got that repeat work because it went well. Those projects went well and I delivered. So so there was luck at the start to sort of get you through the door, and then it's about how you deliver. And after that, it's not lucky because they were happy, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the grey area, isn't it? You can be lucky to be put into a position, but then it's what you do with the luck. Because that's so, again, thinking out loud, which is all this podcast is, you can get, if we flip it, first few months or a year of your business, if you get incredibly lucky, that luck won't see you through as long as your skills aren't good enough. If your skills aren't good enough, that luck will run out over the long period. So you can't rely on luck.
What's the unluckiest?
Oh, I don't know. Have you got an answer? I'll think about that.
Unluckiest thing. Well, about 3 years ago, I sent some emails to people saying, "Do you know of any creative networking groups?"
Yeah.
And everyone said no, including you. And you said no, so let's start one. And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Okay, so talking about the starting of TCC then, how much luck is involved with that? Because we met through, you could say luck, we were both at a random networking meeting, but yet we still put ourselves in a position to be lucky and meet people because we went out and networked.
Yep.
But it was still lucky that we happened to be at that meeting, and then everything snowballs.
Yep.
So I don't think that you can, I think it would be foolish to say there's no such thing as luck at all.
I'm desperately trying to come up with an argument for why luck doesn't exist.
Oh, yes, and you're failing badly.
I know. So, episode 13. Actually, number 30. We should have done it for episode 13, shouldn't we?
Missed a trick there, didn't we?
Damn it.
We could rescue it in the edit.
Yeah. But yeah, so there was luck involved in that process, wasn't there? Because I think there were 6 people that I messaged up trying to find a group that I wanted to join.
I was the sixth.
For creatives. You were the first and only.
Yeah.
But the only person to respond with so let's start one.
Okay, but that's another example of luck, because what happens if that first person said, okay, no, I don't know, shall we start one? And then who knows what TCC, it might not have even been TCC. It might have been, the group might have been something else.
Someone did respond that said, it was 50-50. No, they said, let me know if at any point you need a hand.
Okay.
And then by that point, we were rolling.
Yeah.
We don't need no help. We do need help.
Okay.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing because we wouldn't be doing this today if you hadn't have said that.
Yeah.
You could have just said, "No, sorry, I don't know one.
Exactly.
I'll let you know if I do."
Yeah. Or if you need a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great example, isn't it? Mm. And you think of, if you kind of work backwards from the projects that you've done that have snowballed from other projects that you've done, and the initial project might have been a lucky one. We just don't know, do you? So there's definitely, I would argue, there's definitely an element of luck.
I had a client who, on one of the voiceover platforms, generally on those platforms, you're not allowed to take those people away from those platforms because they want to charge their 20% on top.
Okay.
And if you take them away and work direct with them, you get banned from the platform. So I had a message on one of the platforms after I've been working with this client for about a year, and it was all in, it's seemingly gibberish, and I couldn't work out what they were talking. I got a bit worried that something bad had happened in their head, sort of thing. But I managed to decipher it, and it basically said, "Do you work off of the platform as well?" sort of thing, in this sort of weird code. And I've been working for them now for 4 years. And I wanted to take this down the route of luck, but I don't think it was.
Okay.
Can you edit that bit out?
No. But it's an interesting. So what's the end of the story?
Well, I'm still working with them now, but they found
off the platform.
Off the platform. Don't need that platform. But they found me on that platform.
Why do you keep on saying the platform? Why can't you name the platform?
I can't remember what one it was. 'Cause it's 4 years ago, but that's how we got there.
I just
'Cause
keep on hearing platform.
There's loads of them. There's
Yeah,
loads of them.
there are. Yeah.
Platform,
I thought we're not going to get sued.
job site. There you go.
Yeah. Indeed.
No, it wasn't Indeed.
No.
It was, no, I don't know.
No. A Fiverr type platform.
Oh no, it was one of the bespoke, dedicated voice
Got it.
platforms.
Platforms.
Stop it. But they found me. I didn't apply for anything, so they'd obviously searched through a lot of different at the time English voices that they needed because they're from European English teaching school. So there was luck to start that relationship.
Yep. But you still had to put your. I presume you had to do your profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was available
Yeah,
on there, but
yeah.
the fact that there's thousands of voices on there, and they picked me from there.
Yeah.
So there was quite a lot of luck in what I do, I think.
So you started this conversation thinking there's no such thing as luck in business. We finished. Well, we're coming to the end of this conversation, and what's your position
I
now?
am convinced. You've convinced me.
This is an impossible question, but to kind of start wrapping up, if you had to put a number to it, if starting a business or to make it, let's say, 10 years in the business of your choice, what percentage is luck? 100% being all luck and 0% being all skill.
Oh man.
Because I would say it's 70% hard work and skill.
Oh, okay.
30% luck.
Yes.
And the difference, and that 30% will probably wouldn't make or break you, but it would maybe be the difference between X amount of thousands per year or whatever you deem success. I don't think you could get so unlucky that your business would go under unless for health reasons or anything like that. Obviously, stuff like that can happen. But I think day to day, I don't think it's possible to get so unlucky over a long term that you wouldn't be successful. So I reckon about 70.
I was hoping you was going to go with the majority.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think maybe even more than that, because a lot of it is decision based. I'm going to start a business. Although I wouldn't have had that thought if I hadn't been made redundant. Oh, for fuck's sake.
See, you can. Your philosophy is unraveling as we speak.
Mate, story of my life, that is.
Yeah. Okay, so conclusions.
Conclusion is luck exists.
Yeah.
It helps in business.
Yeah.
Don't rely on it. You still got to work hard.
Yeah, love that. Love that.
Lucky we were recording for once.